Meringue! Let's talk about meringue. First of all, what is meringue? In its most basic form, meringue is sugar and egg whites that are whipped together to make a thick foam. But how does it work? Let's talk about the chemistry of meringue. Whoa, chemistry. I'm not any good at chemistry, Teal. I'm not gonna understand this. Stop. First of all, don't be so negative on yourself. You can understand this. 2, this isn't like chemistry you learn in high school or college. This is just talking about how meringue works. 3, I got a C in chemistry in high school and I certainly didn't take it in college. So don't freak out, you're gonna be fine. First, what's an egg made of? Well, that's obvious, Teal. It's the egg yolk and the egg white. We don't want any of the egg yolk to make meringue. All you want is the egg white. Okay, so what's an egg white made of? Let's have a visual. Okay, so egg whites are made mostly of water, like 90%, and then the rest is mostly protein. So for the sake of visual learning, let's pretend that all these little blue dots on the outside of this little spiky ball are proteins. And all of the rest of it is the coiled mess that is how the proteins are bound together. Now, coils of protein don't really help you that much. What you want are chains. And what you're doing as you're whipping up those egg whites is you're uncoiling the mess and you're helping to make the proteins bind into a chain. And a chain is stronger than the coiled mess that is a liquid egg white. As you keep whipping the egg white, you create little pockets of air and the chains expand. All of these little pockets of air are surrounded by little proteins and it's quite a strong bond that they have. But it could be stronger. In some meringue recipes, you add in an acid like cream of tartar at the beginning of the recipe. This helps bind your proteins in an even stronger chain. Not all meringues have an acid added to them, but they do all have sugar. And sugar is absorbed into the watery protein mixture, binds to the water and the proteins, and makes your chain even stronger. So here we have little proteins, coiled mess, start whipping air into it. The egg white begins to expand, and the proteins form a chain, and you just keep going. The sugar that you add in also binds in until you stretch the chains as far as they can go, and you have little air bubbles all throughout the meringue, and what you have is a stable meringue. And you may have seen in a lot of recipes something that'll say that it requires soft peak or medium peak or stiff peak. These are the 3 different stages of meringue. After a little while of whipping your egg whites, you hit the first stage, which is soft peak. And that's when you can pick your whisk up. You have a little peak of meringue on top of the whisk, but the peak falls over, hence soft peak. If you keep whipping, what you get next is medium peak. Same thing, you can pick up your whisk, you're gonna have a little peak on top, and the peak kind of bends over a little bit. It doesn't totally fall, but it doesn't stick up straight. It's in the middle, it's medium. And then if you keep whipping even more, you end up with stiff peak. This is when you pick up your whisk, it forms a little peak, and that peak sticks straight up. It does not fall over at all. It is a stiff peak. Now, at this point, you've whipped your meringue as far as it will go. Stiff peak is the bonds stretched as far as they can without breaking. So, what happens if you keep whipping? They break. I'm not going to break my ball. I love this thing. But if you whip it up and you keep stretching, keep whipping, keep stretching, keep putting air in, the protein bonds will break and they can't go back together once they do. So if you take a meringue and you whip it past stiff peak too far, it'll start to deflate and fall apart. It'll look really broken and you won't be able to get it back together again. Now, to completely, fully stabilize a meringue, you have to add heat. This coagulates the proteins, stabilizes the egg white completely, and holds it in place. If you whip up a meringue, even all the way to stiff peak, and then you let it sit, let's say you whip it up the beginning of a recipe, you let it sit there, it's gonna start to go back down. It's going to deflate, the air is gonna leave, and it's gonna turn back into a liquid. That's not ideal, but it's fixable. You can whip it back up. Now there's 3 different kinds of meringue. Basic or French meringue, Swiss meringue, and Italian meringue. Each has different qualities and each is used in different recipes. I'll make separate videos for each of those and put them along the sides right here so you can click and watch each one when you might need it for a different recipe. So I'm gonna leave these links right here and I will show you in each of these videos how each of the different meringues is made. So should you happen upon one in a recipe, you can go, oh, I know how to do that. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this, and if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments and I will do my best to help you in any way I can with any of your meringue troubles. If you'd like to be notified when I upload videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, watch these, learn about the different meringues, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!